What was supposed to be a solo triumph has now become one of the most emotionally moving stories in BTS history, and it all comes down to one person, Jungkook. BTS Jin prepares to launch his first-ever solo world tour, Jin Seokjin EP Tour. The world expected dazzling performances, emotional vocals, and stage mastery from BTS's eldest member. But what no one expected was the revelation that shook the fandom. This tour almost never happened. And the man who pulled Jin from the edge of quitting wasn't a producer, a director, or a label executive. It was Jungkook. In a behind-the-scenes interview released just days before the opening concert in Goyang, Jin spoke with vulnerability fans rarely get to see. "I didn't feel ready. I honestly thought maybe I wasn't meant to do this alone," he admitted. But Jungkook showed up. He didn't ask questions. He just came and stayed. No press, no performance schedule, no agenda, just presence. While the world saw Jungkook finishing military service with fierce determination, what they didn't know was that in the late hours, he was sitting beside Jin in the studio, helping him rewrite melodies, refine arrangements, and, most importantly, rebuild his self-belief. Staff members close to the production confirmed that Jungkook became Jin's unofficial creative partner. He never tried to take over, one insider shared. He just quietly pushed Jin to be braver, to take risks. He reminded him that he wasn't alone. Fans began noticing subtle hints even before Jin made his emotional confession. Photos captured Jungkook entering rehearsal buildings with a hood pulled low, slipping in quietly before vocal warm-ups. One staff member posted a now-deleted tweet. "Jungkook doesn't want credit. He just wants Hyung to shine." And shine, Jin did. But what fans are realizing now is that the light Jin is standing in is shared. It's the result of countless silent nights, late studio talks, and emotional support that never made headlines, until now. When asked directly if Jungkook would appear on stage with him during the tour, Jin smiled softly. "You might not always see him," he said, "but he's there. He's always there." This bond between the eldest and the youngest has always been cherished by fans, but this latest chapter has transformed their relationship into something legendary. What began as Hyungdongsing affection has matured into something deeper: mutual respect, emotional safety, and an unshakable sense of loyalty. Jungkook didn't save the tour with Instagram posts or dramatic gestures. He saved it by showing up when no one else knew Jin needed someone, by being the voice that said, "You've always been enough." He saved it by standing behind Jin, literally and metaphorically, while letting him take center stage. And because of that quiet heroism, Jin Seokjin EP Tour is no longer just about a solo debut. It's about trust. It's about love. It's about the quiet power of someone who doesn't need the spotlight to change someone's life. As one ARMY fan wrote in a now viral tweet, "He may be standing alone on stage, but he's never alone in spirit." Because Jungkook is always in the wings, his shadow, his strength, his heart. And maybe that's the real magic of BTS. No matter where they go, together or apart, their hearts remain forever intertwined. As the first notes of rehearsal echoed through the empty Goyang Auxiliary Stadium, Jin stood alone in the spotlight. But those closest to him knew he wasn't really alone. Behind the curtain, tucked away in the wings, stood Jungkook. Head down, hoodie up, hands folded. Watching, listening, breathing with him. In a world where headlines often scream about drama, scandals, or flash, this story cuts through the noise with something more powerful: authenticity. Jungkook never posted about his late nights helping Jin. He didn't tease fans with cryptic messages or share polished photos in the studio. He simply showed up. Again and again. That kind of loyalty can't be bought. It can't be faked. Industry insiders are now whispering that the depth of Jungkook's involvement in Jin's tour rivals that of a co-producer. From helping select setlist transitions to encouraging Jin to perform a raw, stripped-down version of Epiphany as an opening act, Jungkook's fingerprints are all over this journey. Quietly, of course. He never signed up for recognition. He believed in Jin when Jin didn't believe in himself, said one close HYB staff member. That's the kind of love you don't see often in this industry. It's love without fanfare. Love that doesn't ask for applause. Love that just is. Fans attending the upcoming shows are now bringing banners not just for Jin, but also for Jungkook. Some read, "You saved him," while others simply say, "Thank you, Jungkook." The emotional undercurrent of this tour has turned it from a musical performance into a spiritual experience for many ARMY's. One fan who traveled from Brazil to attend the opening night described it perfectly in an online post. "We bought tickets for Jin. We're leaving with a deeper understanding of what brotherhood really means. This isn't just music anymore. This is healing in the form of sound. And that healing didn't start with a song. It started with silence. With a brother sitting beside another, saying nothing, doing everything. As rumors swirl about a possible surprise duet in Amsterdam to close the tour, fans are already bracing themselves. The thought of Jin and Jungkook, two souls who've carried each other through darkness, sharing the same stage again not for show, but for meaning, is almost too much to bear. Will it happen? No one knows. But even if it doesn't, the truth remains. This tour is a monument not just to Jin's courage, but to Jungkook's quiet heroism, because sometimes the greatest strength doesn't come from standing in the light. It comes from choosing to stay in the shadows, so someone else can finally shine. As July 12th approaches, the opening night in Goyang is being called by fans the day the silence will sing. And in so many ways, that phrase captures the essence of what's unfolding. Jin's voice, shaped by solitude, lifted by love. Backstage insiders have reported that the final rehearsal brought even the toughest staff members to tears. Jin, standing in the center of a massive, empty stadium, whispered a quiet "thank you" before singing the final chorus of Epiphany. The emotion was so raw that sound engineers reportedly had to pause to gather themselves. And when the lights dimmed, there he was, Jungkook, waiting at the edge of the stage. No words were exchanged, just a small nod, a smile, a hand on Jin's shoulder. That moment wasn't caught on camera. It wasn't meant to be, but someone who witnessed it shared anonymously. It felt like witnessing something sacred. Not a performance, not an act, just love, pure and powerful. There's talk now that HYBE might release a special Tour Soul Cut, a documentary film not focused on the glamour or the fame, but on the emotional foundation of Jin's journey. If the whispers are true, the film will center on the invisible thread that runs between Jin and Jungkook, the kind of bond that neither time nor distance can ever sever, and fans are already preparing for an experience unlike any other. Many are bringing letters, not just for Jin but for Jungkook. Messages thanking him for being the silent strength in a world that often demands noise. For reminding them, and Jin, that presence is the loudest kind of love. In an era of curated perfection, scripted moments, and manufactured emotion, what's happening with Jin's solo tour feels revolutionary. It's raw, it's honest, it's beautifully imperfect. And at the heart of it all is a quiet hero, Jungkook, who never asked to be seen, but became unforgettable nonetheless. This story isn't just about music anymore. It's about brotherhood, about being the anchor when someone you love is drifting, about standing still when the world is moving fast, and about knowing that the most powerful moments in life are the ones you don't post, but live. When Jin takes the stage on July 12th, the crowd will scream, the lights will dazzle, and the world will watch. But those who truly know will see something more. Behind every lyric is a memory, behind every step is a journey, and behind every spotlight there is Jungkook. Always watching, always believing, always there, because this tour isn't just about who sings the song, it's about who stayed when the song almost died. As fans flood into Goyang Auxiliary Stadium on the first night, they'll be carrying more than just light sticks and banners. They'll be carrying stories, their own and now Jin's. But quietly threaded through all of it is Jungkook, whose quiet loyalty has created a wave of emotional resonance unlike anything the fandom has experienced before on social media. Hashtags like #JinNeverAlone and #JungkookSaveTheTour are trending globally. Fans from all continents are sharing their own experiences of being pulled from darkness by someone who simply stayed. Jin and Jungkook's bond has become a mirror for the fandom's own healing. And for many, this tour isn't just entertainment. It's an emotional reckoning. In interviews, Jin has begun to open up more, even as he keeps many of the tour's surprises tightly under wraps. "When I sing these songs, I don't feel like I'm doing it for myself anymore," he said in a recent press appearance. "I'm singing them for the person who helped me find my voice again. And maybe for everyone who's ever needed that kind of person." Jungkook, as expected, remains silent in the public eye. No posts, no interviews, just shadows. But fans have spotted him leaving rehearsal venues late at night, always behind the crowd, often unnoticed, except by the most observant. In one now viral fan video, you can see him pause just outside the gates of the stadium, look up at the venue lights, smile slightly, and vanish into the waiting car. That 2-second clip has been looped endlessly, captioned with things like, "Not all heroes need a stage." He showed up, not to be seen, but so Jin could be. The brightest light often stands in the quietest place. The relationship between Jin and Jungkook, forged over years and now crystallized in this moment, has become a masterclass in emotional resilience. Where Jin once hesitated, he now walks with clarity. Where he once questioned his place as a soloist, he now commands a stage that spans continents. And still, he never walks it alone. Rumors are now swirling about the final night of the tour in Amsterdam. Fans suspect something monumental may happen. Perhaps a live duet. Perhaps Jungkook will finally step into the light. Or maybe he won't. Maybe he'll be exactly where he's been this whole time, off stage, listening, protecting, loving, because that's who he is, and that's the story this tour tells best. Not just one of a star rising, but of the brother who held the sky steady while he did SO when the lights go down on the final night and the last note fades into silence. Fans will remember more than just the music. They'll remember the courage it took for Jin to begin again. And the quiet, unwavering love that made it possible, that a love that never needed to be loud, because it was always loud enough to save a life.